Finally on my channel, a book review. How's it going, guys? It's your host with the Most Lars 100. We're here in my studio where I like to get creative, and if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I'm really into graffiti and I'm really into streetwear and collectibles and basically urban culture. I do really admire a lot of artists which are active in this kind of field, being at Course, for example, but there's one graffiti artist that has been in the game for so long that personally I feel he's a total standout. That guy, of course, is FUTURA 2000. This guy has been involved in the urban scene all the way from the beginning of graffiti in the late 70s in New York City to the latest, Virgil Abloh Louis Vuitton show. FUTURA 2000 has done it all and has seen it all. And this is why Rizzoli just published the latest monograph about this amazing artist, which I just got, and I thought I'm gonna unbox it with you. But before we do that, I thought it would be a bit fun to talk about FUTURA 2000 and to have a look at all the books I collected about that guy. I think we're gonna then crown the whole kind of situation with reviewing the latest book by Rizzoli that just arrived at my doorstep today. So let's get started. I think the first book I got in '92 is this one. This book was released to accompany an exhibition in the Netherlands about graffiti from New York City. They showed a lot of the kind of early pioneers like Lee and Dondi, Sapphire Ramsey. When I found this in the attic, I was just looking through it, and suddenly, lo and behold, I realized that FUTURA 2000 already had his section in this book as well. Ta-da! Of course, cool as ever, and with the best handwriting in the game, the awesome FUTURA tag on the first page. And even back in the days, he already had this super cool abstract style, and I think this is what made his work so timeless. While other graffiti writers were just basically mostly style writers, writing their name, FUTURA already, went more abstract, more arty, and I think this gave him this crazy longevity in the game, actually. The time I really got into FUTURA was basically during Mo Wax. They were part of this crazy 90s streetwear and urban art scene. James Lavelle launched this label in London in the early 90s. And he was a big fan of FUTURA, and he got him on board to design a lot of sleeves, and he actually released the first dedicated book about FUTURA's work. It has a lot of great illustrations in here, spanning the whole career of FUTURA from the late 70s all the way to his work with Mo Wax. Most people got hip to FUTURA because of the artwork he did for the band Uncle. Me as well. I just loved his characters. I loved all the kind of really cool packaging and the vinyl he designed for them. Unfortunately, his relationship with Mo Wax and James Lavelle went a bit sour later on, but yeah, still it was an absolutely legendary collaboration. Once Mo Wax blew up and his artwork blew up, he got introduced to people like Nigo, for example, from Bathing Ape. As you can see, he was like painting on buses. He did massive sculptures and toys, and even released his own spray can with Bathing Ape. Super cool stuff. As a collector, of course, I'm just eating this kind of stuff up. This is another collectible I'm really happy to have in my collection. This Relax magazine from 2000. As you can see, it's featuring FUTURA on the cover, and it has a really nice spread here about him. As you can see, all this really cool artwork. Talking about Mo Wax, talking about his early work in New York City. If you have never heard about Mo Wax, I really think you should get this Mo Wax book, of course published by Rizzoli again. I mean, these guys published everything which is relevant in the kind of urban fashion and style world, being it the Supreme book, being it the Babe book, being it the Mo Wax book, and now publishing the most recent FUTURA book. So yeah, if you have no idea what Mo Wax is, definitely get this book. It's absolutely fantastic. It's full of FUTURA stuff. Of course, you get all his work for the band Uncle in here. Really cool prototypes of his toys and everything. Actually, one of his artworks was my first purchase on eBay, which is this Kubrick toy from Medicom, of course, depicting his legendary Appointment character. But more about his collectibles later. I will definitely do a second video about it with my favorite Futura pieces in my collection. Let's get back to the books. The next massive book, you can see it already in my hands, is heavy as hell. And I got this book 2018, where I attended the Collabo exhibition of Futura and Mr. A. And this is concentrating more on his artwork. So not so much about the products, but about his art, and especially the art he created in more recent times. Of course, it's depicting all the stuff he did in the 80s, but it shines a big light on his work during the 90s and 2000s as well. I think it's really timeless. It's really funny when you see, some of these artworks have been done in the 80s and they still look totally fresh and new. And how his work just moved forward. It is, just so dope. As you can see, I got this signed to me, which is absolutely fantastic. You see, how dope his handwriting is. It's so good. By the way, Futura, I think, is the most hardest working guy ever. He puts so much effort meeting his fans, because his fans, always trying to get some rare collectibles from his back catalog, some toys or some weird magazines. Then they bring their grails to Futura and he signs them. And it's always a really nice interaction. And if you want to know more about this, please check out the 2 Futura videos I got on my channel already, where I've been attending his show in Paris, where I picked up this book, and I attended a show in Berlin called 5 Elements. Please check that out. Ta. So here we are. Fresh from the post office, the latest Futura book, published by Rizzoli. It's been a long time going. I think I talked with Futura in London about it like a couple of years ago. He told me like this book will come eventually. But a lot of years went by without anything getting announced. Now I hold the book in my hands and I'm really excited. Let's get it. And here we got it, ladies and gentlemen, Futura by Rizzoli. Hopefully we get a lot of products as well, because, as you've seen, I already have a lot of art books depicting his art. I think you can't really beat the Magda Danitz one. It has so much of his work. So I hope this book is concentrating on his products and his fashion collaborations and all the other good stuff he was doing. For example, in the sneaker scene, I hope this is in this book. I mean, that's another thing I love about Futura. Like, that guy is so stylish in whatever he does. Like, being it creating clothes or sneakers or his website or his Instagram account. I mean, that guy is always in touch with the latest technology, the latest products, the latest movers and shakers. I mean, he's so legendary at this point that, of course, people like Virgil Abloh love him and they feature him. But it's crazy that he is, now collaborating with Comme des Garçons, with Louis Vuitton, with all these people. So he's still relevant after all these years, I mean, that guy at one point dated Madonna, and has been dancing in Studio 54. So he's still around, he's still relevant. Amazing. So let's have a peek. The whole book starts actually in the present and going backwards, which I think is really cool, kind of back to the future. More and more amazing artwork, abstract, colorful, timeless. I love it. Here we're having a look at the stuff he did with Louis Vuitton. We definitely get a good peek at all the products he was involved in, like being his collection with Modernica or this custom-made BMW. Like, the whole product side was always something I really appreciated with Futura as well. It's just, as a collector, it's just so entertaining. Here we get the man hanging out with Virgil Abloh. Here's this essay. It's going to be interesting to see what that guy writes. Of course, eventually we are reaching the 2000s as well. Have you seen that before somewhere? We're traveling further back in time. Now we are at the Philip Blunt era. You know, the streetwear brand he did with Stash together. There's a picture of this two here, and you see how, you know, how deep his culture roots really go. Of course, you can't forget a Bathing Ape. With these images, I'll leave you. I don't think I need to show you the whole book. I want you to have the excitement to discover the last final pages yourself. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review, this little journey through the publications dealing with Futura. To me, you know, as a designer and as an artist, it's super, super inspiring because like product design and fashion and art, I think music, it's all interlinked, and this is what I find so exciting. And people like Futura definitely, you know, showed me how you can, you know, work across so many different mediums and making it like super exciting and fresh. So on that note, thanks Futura, loving the book. I see you guys later.